What's goody?
Welcome back to Jordan Squared. Today we'll be talking about relationships.
And yeah, relationships in high school, it's a very, I feel like there's a way we can kind of set it up because it's an important thing to have in high school. So there's three main, maybe four if you want to put the fourth one in there, but talking about high school specifically, there's three main kind of relationships that you're going to have. You're going to have your relationship with your friends, and then you're going to have more intimate kind of relationships with boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever you want to call that. And then you're going to have your relationships with your teachers and the teachers that you meet and how those are like the three different and the three separate kinds of relationships, holy kinds of relationships that you are going to have in high school. And we're just here to talk about the importance of each of them and what you gain and what you lose from certain situations like that. So let's see. If we want to start, I think we can start with teachers. Teachers is a pretty good
Mhm.
one to start with, just
Okay.
going on school, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'll ask you, who's a teacher that you've made like a lasting kind of bond or relationship with, and like what have you gained from that? Like being close with them or being able to kind of talk to them if you need something about maybe your grade or a grade in another class or just kind of anything in general, or like a teacher that you find different from the rest, I guess.
Oh, okay. So the first two teachers that come to mind immediately are Coach Shapiro and Miss Reed,
Yeah.
two of the most, charismatic people at our school, teachers at our school. And so my relationship with Coach Shapiro is that he was our PE teacher sophomore year, and that class was just so much fun, and like because it was so much fun, we really developed such a close relationship with him, and like we don't even call him like Mr. Shapiro, we call him like Coach, we call him Shap, we just have like this different type of personal connection with him, and I know you can agree with me on that. And because of that, like having that one person like in the school that you can just come up to and be like, "Hey, I need help with this. I've been thinking about doing this or that," and he's just always there for you, and he gives great advice, and having that person there is really really important. And it doesn't the fact that like he's our PE teacher doesn't even really have a real effect because like the way he is as a person is just that important.
Hmm.
And Miss Reed, she was both of our English teachers. I don't know how long she was your teacher, but she was mine for like 2 years. Yeah,
Two
me
years.
2 years.
2 years.
I had 2 years. So me and Miss Reed, we didn't start off on the best foot. With
Hmm.
me and teachers, like if I have like a bad grade in the class, like I'm like, I don't like that teacher that much. But like for Miss Reed, like I did have a bad like grade in that class, but like at the same time, I was like, okay, she's still a great teacher. Like I've learned so much from her, and like the next year when I had her the next time, like I tried my best to get the best grade, and I did, and that just made it so much easier.
Hmm.
I think you can give like a really good perspective on Miss Reed.
I'm Mr. Reed.
Um,
Okay, yeah.
yeah.
So, like you said, we both had her for 2 years. So, starting our junior year, we had her, and like you came in with not the best grade, I guess. I've always been a pretty good English student, so like English has never really been like my
Yeah.
vice or whatever you want to call it, something like that. So I came in, and I remember beginning of the year we wrote what was it when we were studying those ads like and talking about toxic masculinity and stuff like that, like beginning of junior year. Do you remember that?
I wasn't in that class.
You weren't. It was like okay, but we were studying like Dolce Gabbana and like different stuff and how they like portray
Oh, I
women.
did that assignment though.
You
Yeah.
did? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 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 But we were doing that, and then we had to write like it was an in class essay on it.
Hmm.
And this is the first time like I actually kind of talked to her, and we wrote the essay, and she graded them. Well, like whatever. We went back the next week. She calls everybody up to tell them their grades, and she pulled me up, and she's like, "Oh, I'm kind of mad at you because like I hate giving out A's like in my writing assignments. Like this was really well written. You did this right. You did." I'm like, "Oh, like." And she made me feel good about my writing. She made me feel like, oh, like this is actually something that like I can do. So I mean, for the rest of the year, I don't think I got below an A on a writing assignment, but that's also because like I felt like I had the ability to do that because she gave me the confidence. She's like, "You are a good writer. You can do this and that." And I'm like, okay. So I kind of took that to heart, and that English, I didn't get I didn't below A in any of the quarters either. Like it was just a class like I didn't feel like I had to put the effort in. Like it was just kind of because she gave me that confidence. I was just like, oh, like I can just do this work and it's all good. Like it's not. I don't have to stress about it. I'm gonna have to. It's not hard work. It's just kind of. It's something that I feel like I'm good at this point. So it was nice to kind of have that. And we have a close relationship. She wrote my letter of recommendation for college, and that's another reason why you should get really close with at least two teachers from your junior year and on, because you're going to need letters of recommendation for college. And if you aren't close with a teacher, if you don't talk to that teacher individually, I mean, it's all about what they have to say about you. And if they don't have much to say about you, it's not really going to work in your favor. So I'm definitely get close with a couple of your teachers, like I did with Miss Reed. And I'm not sure who wrote yours. My yearbook teacher wrote, Miss Nelson wrote another one for me, but it's just teacher that you have like a good rapport with and that you've spent multiple years with, and they can kind of attest for your character and your work ethic and how you deal with other situations and students in the classroom. So that also plays a really important factor. And going back to Shap, like you said, I mean, Shap was just it was just different because he was a teacher and he's like supposed to like uphold this level of maturity and respect. But like it was in our gym class, we had all the boys and we had like this whole group of guys, and he was just like an addition to the group basically. Like he was just another one of the boys
Yeah.
in that situation, and we he played football with us and kickball and other stuff like that, and it was just it wasn't like that teacher student separation with him, and that's kind of what made him special for us and develop that good relationship. And we see him all the time and always come up and crack jokes and reminisce on our sophomore year gym class or whatever. But it's cool to have those relationships with teachers like that. So
Yeah, for sure. And like going back on like you're talking about teacher recommendations, that made me think of who I wrote my recommendations for. So my piece of advice for future high schoolers that either listen to this or never hear this ever. But my advice is I really didn't have like I'm not the type of dude that like generates these like super close connections like oh like this teacher's my best friend of all time, you know.
Mhm.
It's not really like that, but my the people the two teachers that wrote my recommendation were Miss Sturry and Miss Verville, and I asked them to because like they like I don't know like they were the two teachers that just like cared about me the most, I would say. And like they actively went out of their way to like help me if I was struggling in a class, like specifically Miss Verville. Like math is not my forte, and she would always like help me. I'd go to her lunch labs and zero periods. I'd go to so many zero periods it wasn't even funny, and she would always help me. And because of that, like I really felt a connection with her, and she wrote my essay for me, and that was huge. And Miss Sturry, I was in her AP. I forgot what the word for the class is, but it's basically like a prep slash study hall for a push. And because of that, it's like such a small class, and it's really focused on one thing, which is like in like really like prepared for a push and like the a push test. Like she really helped me, and like I was one of like the calm students in her class. So she would like rely on me to like
Mhm.
be like the normal person and like at least try and help her out. So because of that, we developed like a pretty close connection. So like my advice is to like really like go out of your way for the teachers that show you that support. Like you said, like Miss Reed gave you the confidence in English, and now like you never got like less than an A because like you
Yeah,
had that confidence and you believed in yourself, and your writing showed that you could do it, you know. And that's really important. So like really like appreciating those teachers, I think, is the most important thing. And it doesn't even have to be for your recommendations. It's just
yeah,
like
just teachers in general.
in general, yeah.
Mhm.
Those are the special ones. Those are the ones that like love to teach and
Yeah,
like
because yeah,
would
they love to teach you and
Mhm.
have those relationships with you
Exactly.
just as much as you love going to their class and
Mhm.
having a conversation or listen to them tell a joke or a story about whatever. Like it's the same kind of they love doing what they're doing, just like you love going and participating in what they're doing. So that's a it's a cool relationship to have.
It really is.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. We can move on to the next one. We can go into friends, I guess. So, I mean, we've touched on friends multiple times, kind of, and just like friendships are very important in high school.
Mhm.
Friendships kind of mold who you are, who you hang out with, the activities you do, stuff you get involved in, whether it's sports, clubs, stuff outside of school, anything. So having a good core group of friends is always something very important to have. And core group doesn't have to be 10 kids. It can be one other person, and that's like your core group. And
Mhm.
really doesn't matter because you know the phrase quality over quantity. Yeah, I said that right. But it's not it's not about how many friends you have. It's about the quality of your friends and will they be there to check up on you and help you when you need it and vice versa. So, I mean, at least for us, we've touched on this before, but we have a pretty good group of friends. We've got bunch of diversity. We've diversity in not only race but also activities we like to do and stuff like that. Like, I mean, we go from James, who's this science whiz, to Yates, who's just like the boy, like just like complete opposites of like kind of people, but just we all kind of get together and we hang out. It's a nice balance to have. So
Exactly.
yeah.
I have a question for you. So, since like we've touched on the importance of friends so much, and like I want to hear your perspective on like imagine you're the kid who's like quiet and just like has never really like been able to find that group of friend.
hmm
What's your advice for that person, Mr. Clark?
Okay, so from our from I don't want to say our perspective. I mean, okay, so like we're I don't want to say I don't know how to come off.
Say it. Just say it.
Like people know us at the school, and we're not
Say
popular.
it.
Like
Say
that's
it.
I'm not saying the word popular because I hate that word. I'm not saying that. But like people know us at school because we have good relationships with teachers and we play sports and we're involved in things. So people know us at the school.
Popular kids.
Whatever. Okay, so from our perspective, like if someone who is on the more quiet side or something like that, I mean, at least from us, there's nothing wrong with that. Like in
Yeah.
that sense, like if that's what you like doing, then you go and do that. And I remember, I mean, there are kids in my GP all 4 years or 3 years technically, but 4 years even this year. But I mean, that were just quiet and kind of did their own thing. And there's ways you can get in with that. Like I mean, we freshman year, I had Jason and Mina in my GP, and we would hang out. But we also had a couple other kids, and by the end of the year, we were all playing Surviv together on computers and playing like one kid brought Mario Kart in. We had a whole Mario Kart tournament. But it's just like every people aren't as different as you make it as it may seem.
Yeah.
Like to the public eye, like you may look at one person and may look at someone else and be like, oh, they've got nothing in common. But you bring out a game that you played when you were kids, or you bring out something that you both like can bond over, and that's kind of the biggest thing. So it doesn't have to be like a big thing. It's just some small thing that brings people together, and they're like, that's kind of the spark. And then you're like, oh, you are pretty cool, or you're pretty cool too. Like we have this in common. We got this in common. So I feel like that's probably may not be the best example, but just like find something that's easily like connectable, I guess, between people. So, like for us, it was basketball,
Hmm.
and then we stemmed from there, and we talked about other things and this and that. And I met your friends, you met my friends, stuff like that. So that's what we stemmed off of. So that's just like kind of the basis of what, and then that's how friendships start in general, I guess. So I'm giving advice on how to start a friendship. There you go. You're welcome. You're welcome.
No, I really like what you said. Like, people aren't as different as you think they are, because they really aren't.
hmm
And, you know, like, my biggest worry coming into high school was like, oh, like, am I gonna make any friends? Like, blah, 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 blah. But it is different since I had like an older brother who was just
hmm
like Alex Simmons,
Alex.
you know? So I don't know if I can like have I don't know if I have the best like input or perspective on that, but definitely like what I miss most like during COVID and not being able to go to school was like the friendships you make that are like solely
Your
school
school friends,
connections.
your
Exactly.
associates, your whatever you want to call them. Yeah.
Exactly. Those people make like school so enjoyable. It's like when you're in a new class and like your core friends aren't there, and then like gradually you just start talking to more people, and then like that's just how it works. And like those people are like mean a lot to me, and like I think that's like one of the coolest parts about school is like it really encourages you to make those connections, to
And
bond.
I mean, you bring up a good point because without school, like school brings a whole bunch of different people together that probably wouldn't be together in any other setting except for the
Yeah,
fact that they're all trying to learn the same thing. So, with that being said, you get people who different religions, races, interests, hobbies that all come together to learn history, and you bond over who has done the homework. Do you need help with a test, studying? And over time, that kind of just brings you together. Like this year, I was in a bio class, and it was SO, and it's a junior and senior class. Like juniors and seniors can take it. And I had two seniors in my class, maybe three seniors. And the juniors, I think I knew one of them, but like by the end of the year, we're all texting about the homework and the tests and the stuff like this, and we're all bonding. We even text like when we don't have class. Like it's just kind of like a group chat that we have now. So, and it's different virtually because in person maybe we would have a stronger relationship or whatever, but virtually we're still able to maintain that connection through social media, through texting and stuff like that. And it's just it's nice because it's not your core group of friends like you said. Like it's different people that you
exactly.
wouldn't expect to be talking to otherwise, and now you've got this new friendship, and you can meet their friends and expand on whatever you already have, and that's the beauty of friendship right there.
It really is. It really
Hmm.
is. I'm still pretty jealous that you have that bio group, man. It's not. It wasn't
Yeah,
fair.
you.
It wasn't fair. I had to struggle on my own, and it was real. It was a real struggle, man. Oh God.
Hey man, so, hey, we help each other out. We're the help each other study. We
Yeah.
help each other study for a lot of the tests. We still didn't do very good on a lot of the tests. It was the effort that counts. It was the bonding
Exactly. It
that
was
bond.
the bonding. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The bio bonding.
The bio
That's
bonding.
what you should name your group chat.
Bio bonding.
Bio bonding.
We all call each other
Bio
by our
brethren.
Snapchat usernames. I'm Mojo3492 in their eyes. It's very nice.
Much.
Yeah. Mojo.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Ah,
Let's see. Let's go one. This is kind of an interesting question because this kind of leads into the next. But I heard this might sound a little out of base or out of pocket, but there was an interview with Steve Harvey. I don't know if you've seen it, but he was asked a question on if he thinks men and women can be friends,
oh,
like platonically. And
oh,
his answer was no. He said, I don't have female friends because, like, the only reason you have a female friend is because she has made it 100% clear that nothing is going to, like, it's not going to go anything farther than friends. Like, the only reason you guys are friends is because she has made it clear that it won't go any farther than friends. Yeah, like that was kind of
yeah.
his logic.
I feel like I've heard that so many times.
Because uh, it's
What's,
an
what's
yeah.
your,
That's why I'm
what's
asking
your,
you. 'Cause-
no,
no,
what's
I'm
your?
asking you. I'm asking you.
I
I'm
want to
asking
know
you.
how you feel.
I asked the question. It's an interesting
Uh,
take. You got it.
okay. I think that's like really thinking about that. Like I would have to disagree. Like I think it's so like like just like the blatant objectification that statement holds doesn't sit right with me.
Hmm.
It's just like cramming. Oh, I see a chipmunk in my tree. It's it's just cramming the whole like female gender into just like, oh, if I want to have sex with them or not, I will speak to them.
Hmm.
Like who do you think you are? Like God's gift to this planet.
Hmm.
Every girl like has to like what? Like no, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And like I feel like I feel like it's just impossible to do that because you meet so many people and like sure a lot of like girl girls that are my friends like I don't know are attractive, but it's not like that's that's like the only reason why I
Yeah.
speak to them. Like
Hmm.
they're my friends because they're my friends, you know?
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
like I think it's so messed up to just say, "No, I won't be your friend because like
Yeah.
sex," you know?
Hmm.
No, that's so dumb.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't get that. Like a lot of people, like you'll hang out with a group of people, you're hanging out with the girl, something like that, and the first question is always like, "Oh, like how was like what you guys do like this?" Like it's got to be on something other than like just friends, I guess.
Okay, when
And
you put it like that, like okay, like I understand that.
yeah, you get it. Like I mean, because there's two different like the overarching perspective and then the other, like perspective like from your friends. Like if you were to go hang out with someone and then come back to talk up with us, and like it was a purely like platonic relationship,
Yeah.
friendship, whatever, and then you come back and like you get badgered or you get something, you're like, no, like we're just friends. I swear, I swear, I swear. Like I don't know.
No, no, okay. When you put it like that, like no, I get that 100%. And it's different when it's like you said, like when you equate it to like such a general,
Hmm.
it's absurd to
Yeah,
think.
because that's kind of like you're not gonna put an entire gender into one box and then just like
Exactly.
leave it at that. Like it doesn't really work that way.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. But when you think of it as like the situation you just said, like it's like that happens so many times, and
But
I'm a culprit of that.
I
I'm not gonna lie.
think we all are. I
I
think
think
everybody is.
yeah, you have a point, but no, yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Miles? What do you think?
I think you ever get that when it actually is platonic, and then you come back, and then they start going on you, and then you're like, well, damn, is it platonic? Like do I have like your feelings change like while you're getting badgered about it? That
Hmm.
ever happened?
I don't know. Has that ever happened?
I know,
Yeah,
I,
that
I
has happened.
yeah,
That
I
has.
know it's happened to me, but it's just like
And then you
it.
start to look at them a little different, a little
Yeah,
different.
then you're just like, like, interesting, interesting.
But I think you can say that for like I bet you girls do the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, it's not just a guy thing in this
Yeah,
situation, and if it is, then, but I mean, I highly doubt it is.
yeah,
But
yeah. No, okay, keep talking about that. What you're saying is interesting.
what was I saying? Okay, I don't really. I kind of lost my train of thought.
Let's go. Let's go. You're
So
basically saying like when you do come back and like people start like your friends start badgering them, then you're like, oh yeah, like you start to see them a little differently. Like,
mhm.
why do you
Uh,
think that is though?
because I think in your eyes or in my, we'll say from my eyes because it's will go my perspective. But like I go and I hang out with someone and I come back and then you're like, oh, you guys are so cute together, like whatever you making jokes, this and that.
Yeah,
And in my eyes, I see it as a friendship, a truly platonic friendship, and I've never thought about it like in that other way. But then all of a sudden you say this, and I'm like, oh, like what if it isn't like, oh, maybe we are cute together, maybe we are this, maybe we are that, maybe and then you start looking back on what you guys did and you're like, maybe I missed a sign, maybe I missed this,
yeah,
the choosing signal, something like that, like,
yep,
and then you like look back and second guess everything, and then it's a whole like that. That's because like feelings is an interesting thing because it's not. There's a difference between like I don't want to say doubt, but like looking back and like over analyzing everything
yeah,
and feelings, but it's also like a very fine line in that sense because like you can go back and not have feelings for someone and completely like stress yourself out and overanalyze this and that just because you're like curious and interested, but then there's that fine line where it does move over and then you're like, oh, like this isn't good because I feel like actually what is that? I feel like the line is like time, how how long you act like because if it happens once, then you're like, okay, whatever.
hmm
But then if it happens, say multiple times, like throughout a week, like a couple times in 1 week, then you're like, oh, then it may graduate or elevate or whatever you want to call it, I guess.
yeah. And I think we both have had very like we've had experiences of this. I know I
Yeah.
have
Hmm.
for sure.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know, maybe this just goes to like show how I don't know if it's just me, but like in terms of relationships, like I want like my partner, I guess, to be like my friend, you know?
Mhm.
And I think that's what a lot of people want. So that's why when you say like, oh, it just starts out as like friends and then it's like people say something and then you're like, ah, and I think that's just why. That's just like the process in a
Mhm.
way because it's like eye opening when other people because like when you're like talking to that person and then you come back, you're like literally you feel
Yeah,
nothing.
you're like, it's nothing, like,
It's yeah,
whatever.
because it's like it's eye
It's
opening
normal.
when other people are like, like, you know,
Mhm.
like we get swayed by other people's opinions a lot, but that's not a bad thing. Like they see stuff that you don't see.
Mhm, and that can also be helpful because you
Yeah,
brought up a good point.
exactly.
I mean, like, for me, a lot of my either close relationships, like, well, not I haven't had a lot of, but what I like relationships or stuff like that that started from it stemmed from being a really good friend. So, like,
Mhm.
feelings that I've had or something like that, it's all stemmed from being really good friends first, and then somebody says something or something happens, and then you're like, "Oh, like, that's interesting." And now you bring up the point because now like when other people say that, maybe it's the same kind of thing that you missed in the past, and then you're like, ah, like,
Uh,
this is interesting, but yeah,
yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe we're just simps.
maybe we're just Sims,
I think
possibly.
that's what it is.
Do you want to explain the term simp for people who who may not know?
I don't even the term has it's changed so much. I think it's
Mhm.
just like you can just I don't know. It's like basically when you just like I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it, man. I don't know.
I feel like like when it first like actually had like meaning or like beside until it turned to like anything that you do is simp behavior or whatever. Like the original meaning of it was basically like you put yourself in a subservient or like a
Yeah,
lower like you value yourself less to get the attention or something from somebody else. Like you put that person on a pedestal and like bring your worth down in that same time sense to try to get with that person, I guess.
exactly.
So
Yeah,
that was like the original. So like if I don't know, somebody doesn't like I don't know, a song that I like, and then they're like, "This is a horrible song," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, this song sucks," but I really like the song. I will be simping because I'm like,
yeah,
that's not me. Like that's not who I am. I'm like changing
yeah.
my behavior
Yourself to
to yeah.
fit what they want.
But now it's anything. Now it's just being a respectful person. You be a respect. You hold the door open for somebody, and you're a simp now. So it really doesn't hold
Yeah,
meaning at
it
all
has
anymore.
no meaning at all now.
Hmm.
Okay, okay, what we just touched on is really important, and I'll kind of are we like are we are we still in like the relationship zone of
Yeah, sure. Yeah, got
like
it. Go for it.
relationships?
Hmm.
So what you said about like changing yourself to like get the person you want or like stuff like that. I think that's what a lot of people in high school do, and like I'm not gonna lie, I've been of
Victim, a
a perpetrator
ah.
of that action, and I
And before you get into this real quick, change isn't always bad. Change isn't
no
always a bad
no
thing to
no
have. But then there's certain types of change where then it's
yeah
like, ah,
yeah
so continue. But
when you're not being like your full self, like just because you want to be with someone or
mhm.
do something with someone. That's when it gets bad. So I think my advice for the younglings out in the universe is to just, be yourself. I know it's a really cliche thing to say. Be yourself. You want to shine. Blah, 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 blah. But it really is true. It really is. And it's hard. It's hard to be yourself when, like, you see, like, we talked about on, like, the social media episode, like, you see these people, you're like, oh, I have to be like them. I have to dress like them. I have to act like them. I have to be super funny, super this, super that. But, like, if that's not who you are, then it's just going to seem fake, and people like you for you. And I think that's what we all need to remember and to cherish. I'm just
So
saying this so I remember it. I'm like,
Like set that as your ringtone. Remember
exactly.
to be yourself.
Be yourself, Jordan. Be Jordan Simmons. Do it.
And I think that I mean, you bring up a good point because I feel like as we've kind of like progressed through high school, the way that relationships have been looked at has kind of changed. Like at the beginning, I feel everything was kind of based off of like more looks and more like how people,
Yeah.
and that's what you're maybe changing yourself for. Like you look at someone and they're like, oh, she's so bad, she's so bad this, and you're like, oh yeah. So like maybe you'll change something you like to do to go hang out with that person because she's attractive rather than because like as we go throughout high school we get to know these people more and it's not just like a face and a name and you
Yeah.
get to know the person. So like that's the real difference between like I'd say freshman year and where we are now.
Hmm.
'Cause, like our friends are still attractive, but like it's not
Yeah.
our goal when we all go hang out. It's not like yeah. Well, I don't want to say it out loud because this sounds weird, but like, you know, like it's strictly platonic, and
Yeah.
then that's how it like we've elevated from being like
Yeah.
strictly oh my god like sex is so important to just like hanging out and having friends that care about you and look after you when you are not in the best headspace, either mentally or physically or whatever. But
Yeah. No, you said something really interesting. I was laughing, so I kind of forgot what you said, and now I'm really mad at myself
did
because of it.
I just say it?
Huh? Yeah,
Did I
you
just say
literally,
it?
literally just said it.
Friends based off attractiveness
No,
or something? Was it about that or?
it was about that. Ah, ah!
Try to recap what I said because I kind of forget too, but I'll try to recap. What?
What did you say? It was really important. I was like, damn, that's crazy. Ah, okay. Moving on.
Moving on, moving on.
On.
If it comes to you later, we got it. If it comes to you later, we got it. All right. So staying on that relationship right now, what do you think? Um, so talking about relationships in high school and dating specifically, because I feel like our generation has also flipped the term dating. Like we think of dating as something different than maybe our parents would think of as dating. Because like in not I don't say the olden days, but
The older
when the
day.
term originally originated,
Yeah.
dating was you're going on a date with that person. You're not in a relationship. You're not boyfriend, girlfriend, part like whatever you want to call it, but you're going on dates with that person.
Mhm.
Now that is considered to be talking.
Yeah.
And when you're going out and you're going on dates, you're not dating them, you're talking to them.
You're
And it's
talking.
different. And then in a relationship is dating. Like
Yeah.
that's the different thing.
Yeah.
So like from a now I just confused it. I put in the points. But when you're in that actually, how important is that talking slash dating? Say, like, is that very important in high school? And then does that, or is like relationships more important in high school? I guess like having like a solid relationship where you are official boyfriend and girlfriend kind of thing, and
Yeah.
it's kind of known to everybody, or is just not as official, kind of not maybe known to everybody. Like, what do you think? Do
Yeah.
you think there's a difference,
There's
or
definitely a difference, and one is nice and roses and happiness, and the other
Mhm.
is just straight pain and suffering and anguish. I think we can guess which one is which.
I think you guys on the Switch too? That is, yeah.
at
You want to expand on that?
at
You
least
want to?
I'll expand. I'll expand.
All right, sounds
In
good.
my personal experience, man,
Personal experience. Here we go.
the talking stage is literally the most confusing time in my life.
Starts off very nice though. Always starts off
It
fun. Like
starts
the
off nice,
first week is like
yeah,
very nice.
like nice, like oh, like you're getting texts, you're like oh, that's like so cute, like you're getting hearted messages, you're like oh, it's like
Smile when you check your phone.
exactly, and then you're just like oh, you're waiting on their text, and then it comes, and you're like ah, nice, and then it just slowly starts to decline. You're like, what I do wrong? What happened? So yeah, no, the talking stage, it's cool if like it actually leads to something, but I feel like in the most part the talking stage just stays the talking stage. And like I kind of I don't know. I don't like it. Like I really don't like, but it's inevitable. Like it's just a part of our culture at this point in time.
Hmm.
So yeah, in my personal experience, it's never worked out. You know, it's never gone to the roses and happiness part of it. You know, which is the relationship.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Actually, so hold on. So I think I forgot one. So there's.
Oh, and by the way, I remembered what I was gonna say.
Oh, you got to wait.
No,
Let's
no,
go
no,
back. Go back. No,
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 go
no,
back. Go
no,
back.
no, no. It's
I
not
got
as
it.
important as I thought.
You
So I
sure?
like this
Okay.
conversation right now.
Okay. Okay. So I think I forgot one. So basically, we're gonna try to keep it as blunt as possible.
Okay.
We're gonna go relationships at the top, right? And
Okay.
relationships is feelings, and we're high school. Feelings and sexual relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Combined in one. That's typically what a relationship at our age and
Yeah.
maturity level, whatever. That's what it is at our age. Then you have the talking stage, which
Mm-hmm.
is feelings without a sexual relationship at that time because you're just
Talking.
talking. There's nothing like that. And then you
It's
have the third, which is friends with benefits,
uh,
which is
or it's like
supposedly
a thing.
it's a thing, which is supposedly supposed to be
I
no
think a
feeling.
thing is like a step down from
The thing
relate.
is a step down
Yeah.
from relationship, but friends with benefits is supposed to be no feelings,
Yeah.
straight sexual relationship, straight just physical, no feelings. And the problem with that one is because that never really works because somebody always ends up catching feelings in the long run of it.
Mhm.
So those are like the pyramid, the trifecta
The
of
trifecta.
high school
Yeah.
relationships, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Hmm.
So would you say like being in a relationship? I know you've been. Why is Alex calling me? Let me. Why is he calling me?
Simmons,
Yeah. Hold up. Can we?
quick
Yes.
break.
Quick break. Sorry, guys. Yes.
What are you doing, bruh?
I'm doing the podcast. Oh.
Yo, 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 bruh. Yo.
Yes.
Oh, why you gotta yell?
I'm doing the podcast right now.
Alright, bro, listen. Uh,
Okay.
you trying to get some?
Can I talk to you later, please?
Yeah.
Can you just answer the question?
I don't know.
They got gas at full.
Yeah,
We've been
I'll
interrupted.
please talk to you later.
We have
We're in a
been
very good
interrupted.
discussion right now.
Alright.
Bye, Alex.
We're
All
leaving.
right,
We're leaving.
back to it. Back to it. Pardon the interruption. All right,
Pardon the interruption.
what was your question?
Was I asking a
I thought
question?
you were in the middle of a question. You were in the middle
Oh,
of something.
oh yeah. Do you think it is like integral to the high school experience to be in a relationship at least once? Like a committed relationship.
I want to say yes, but then there's also people that I know that haven't been in them.
Yeah.
So like,
I know I haven't.
I know it's not a. I don't want to say you have to do it to be happier to like have a like complete high school relation like experience or whatever. But then at the same time, I feel like it also is more of like character building,
Yeah.
and you go through that, and then you have that experience, and
Mhm.
that's kind of something that you can take forward. So you learn from what you did right, or you learn from your mistakes, and then you can kind of move forward from that. And especially going into college, because like if some people haven't had that like true kind of relationship or haven't had their first kiss or whatever, it's kind of like stuff like that going into college. I feel like we haven't been there, but we know from
Yeah.
our friends and
Yeah.
like college moves a lot differently than
Yeah.
high school does.
Yeah.
So you go into college kind of ill experienced,
Mhm.
then that may have a factor. But I feel like in high school, it's not. too big of a deal. I mean, like and this is also like is sex a big a deal in high school? Like
See, that was the question I remembered.
that was the
I was
question you
gonna ask
remember.
you.
All right,
Yeah.
perfect. Okay, so yeah, we can build off of this. So like in high school, when people talk about stuff, like you see it in movies, and it's always this big deal, and like in rom coms and in stuff like that, and it's built up to be like this one big shining moment, I guess. Um, but is it really like because we talked about how high school doesn't compare to the movies like this in
Slight.
previous episodes. So is this just like that? Like it's kind of different than this picturesque, nice movie scene. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hmm.
Literally, what like I remember talking to like the like certain underclassmen about this. They're asking me like, oh, have you had sex before? And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Can I even disclose that information?
You're fine. It's whatever.
Okay.
Wait.
Okay. Oh
Doesn't
God.
matter.
No, it's just like it's really what I've learned is that it's not something that's really that great unless it's with someone you actively care about, you know? That's the make or miss, you know? If it's
Hmm.
someone you really do passionately care about and like you want to have that experience then with them, then like go for it, you know? Like it's like it can't be like bad, you know?
Hmm.
And I think also like going off like what you said in the movies, like oh, like it's perfect, it's magical, like no, you have no idea what you're doing, you know? And like it's confusing, it's a whole bunch of things, but I think the bottom line is if you're doing it in a safe place with consent, enthusiastic consent, and with someone you actively care about, then I don't think it's a problem or it's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing in that case. I think. What
All
about
right. Very, very, very. What about me?
yeah? What do you think?
I agree with that fully. I mean,
Okay.
like you said before, like it's cool, I guess, but if it's with someone that you care about or have that kind of different relationship on like
Mhm.
a different level than other people, then yes, that will make it more special, I guess, if that's the word you want to use to describe it. Because casual sex is it's casual sex. There's nothing wrong with it, I guess.
Yeah,
But
there's nothing wrong with it, but
yeah,
like
there's not because there's still people like for instance, we know people that like haven't had their first kiss and they're still it's still trying to be like this kind of perfect picturesque moment. And like you said, like that is basically never gonna happen. Like
never.
my first kiss was it was pretty good, but I mean like it's never gonna equivalent.
Yours
Um,
that was like the most movie thing that could have happened.
and yeah, and still, but it's still not on that movie level. Like
Exactly.
it's not gonna be what
It's
you
not. Yeah,
think it
it's
is.
not
Like
gonna be what
as
I think it is.
you're setting your expectations kind of too high in your head, and that could eventually hurt you. Like if you
Yeah.
go into that with that mindset. So not saying like don't be excited and don't like set your standards high. Like we're not saying put your standards on the floor, but like at the same time, like it's not gonna be everything you think it is
Yeah.
possibly.
It's
At least your first time because
at least
it's
because it's
like
the first
no
time. Like
nobody has any idea what they're doing.
exactly.
No, people don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. Nobody.
These are shit. I mean, what did you? I was a junior, so these are like 16, 17-year-old kids. Like, come
Yeah.
on, now. Like
Legit.
it's yeah, it is what it is.
It
So
is what it is. No, no, no. I do like what you're touching on with like our friends that are holding out to
Mhm.
for that special moment, and I really wanted to hear their perspectives
Yeah.
on this.
Hmm.
I think we still can. Do you
I
think?
think we probably still can get. Yeah, we can still do it.
I don't know, man. It's not looking.
Not looking too good. Also, but and before you get into this, it's also not like people don't judge them for that either. Like
No,
I
you
think
don't.
because
You really don't get judged for you know, just like
for anything in general. Like I lost mine. I got a high five from you. I think James gave me a hug, and then we moved on with our life.
yeah.
And it's not like we're out here like making fun of our friends who haven't had first kiss, lost it, like whatever you want to call it. Like we're not being, oh, you guys are losers, you guys
Oh,
can't,
no.
like, because at the end of the day, it really doesn't make that
It
big of
doesn't
a
matter.
difference.
No.
Like, so that's what we're trying to say. Like,
Yeah.
yes, it can be important if you make it important
Yeah.
and if you stress that it is important.
Mhm.
But
But
if not, and you don't hold value on it, then
then go for it. Yeah.
yeah, go for it. It is what it is.
Time, like, you don't want, like we said before, like, once, like, we're like going to college, and like once you get to that, like, that stage in life, like, it's kind of expected,
Hmm.
especially the college culture. It's like heavily expected to do these things.
Hmm.
So, like, I don't know, just I don't know if this sounds
It's
bad.
so weird to talk about. No, dude.
Like, getting it, I'm in regards to, like, kissing, at least,
Yeah.
at the very least, like, getting that over with before, so you have at least a little bit of an idea.
So you know what you're
Yeah.
doing.
To get that character.
Because yeah, practice makes perfect. So I mean, yeah, yeah, you make that's a valid point.
Yeah.
So
But I think, like, since we're two people who have had those experiences, like, it's different. Like, that's why I
mhm,
want to hear what goes into their thinking on that
mhm,
on that subject.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 How was your experience?
Which one?
Sophomore year.
I don't even speak on that, man.
You gonna speak on it?
The way I'm talking about it, I'm like, because, like I said before, it wasn't with somebody I cared about, so it wasn't like amazeballs or, like,
Yeah.
you know.
Hmm.
But, like, it was cool, I guess. Yeah, you know. I don't know, bro. I don't.
Smile for the camera. Hi, mom and dad. How you guys doing?
I swear, if they ever hear this, I'm deceased. I'm dead, man. Oh man. Oh man. Just whatever. Nah, but yeah, I guess in the long run, like, at least getting that part over with, I guess.
Hmm.
I learned from that experience,
Yeah.
and I think though, like, that part, like, you'll always learn from it, and I think
Mm.
that's important.
Can we give advice now?
What do you mean?
Advice. Always use protection.
Always.
What else? Car is not a very good idea.
No,
Don't do a car.
put
It's
it in your
Please
car.
don't do a car. It's not. It's
Don't do it.
especially if you got like not at least not like a SUV.
Got a little sedan.
A little sedan. That doesn't work. What else? What else? What else?
Consent.
Consent.
Goddamn
Big key.
consent.
Big key.
That's all that matters.
If stuff's lock your door if you go to a party. That just make sure you lock the door.
At
That's
least.
because yeah, I mean you think people are considerate.
Mm-hmm.
Most people aren't that considerate.
They're not.
But lock your door at a party. Please.
Please.
What else?
What else?
Don't kiss and tell. It looks kind of bad.
Yeah.
Like bad kiss and tell, I guess. Because then you get a bad rep.
Mm-hmm.
So that's more like social advice. But
Yeah.
what else? Anything else?
I think that covers, like, the main things.
I think that's it. All right.
Yeah.
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 All right. Well, this is gonna be this is gonna be a big switch from conversation, but we talked about trust from. I mean, not trust. We talked about relationships with teachers, with friends platonically, and then relationships. So now onto the last kind of level, talk about parents. So our relationship with our parents and how that kind of factors into because that can factor into all three of those at the end of the day because basically whatever your parents say kind of goes on what you're able and allowed to do.
Yep.
So like if I wasn't allowed to go out all throughout high school and had to stay in my room and like very strict, then I wouldn't have had these experiences with relationships, friends, even teachers maybe because I would have been more shy. So I think it starts at your parents and how you were raised.
Yeah.
And then also, especially in high school, building that trust
That
with them
trust. Yep.
is one of the biggest things you can do because I
Mm.
mean, parents aren't idiots. Like
Yeah.
they were our age once. Like they understand. You say you want to go to a party. You say you want to like they're not stupid. Like they know what's going on.
They know it's
But if you don't have that like good relationship with at least one of your parents, because if maybe you don't have it with both, but maybe you can go to that one parent and they're like, yes, like I trust you, like you can go do this. If you don't have that, then it's going to be very hard to actually do things in high school, I guess. Because I remember like I didn't have the best trust relationship with my parents like throughout freshman year. So I snuck out freshman year and got caught. So that wasn't fun. So
ah
like so I had like a poor trust relationship with my parents. So like they would track me everywhere I went, and I had to like check in 4 or 5 times and stuff like that. Just and now it's a lot different because we've matured and we've
yeah.
grown and we've had better relationships. And now I've extended a curfew till like I don't even know, basically kind of when I would just don't come home too late.
Yeah.
And like being able to go out and do things and not have to constantly check in and not have to
Yeah.
constantly feel like I'm being watched and get to
Mhm.
like live my life. And that comes with maturity and age, but at the same time, it comes with don't screw up too bad. It's,
Yeah.
it's the biggest. It's the biggest thing
Yeah.
because yeah,
I think
yeah.
I agree with that 100%. And like this, my mom is incredibly strict, and for the
Mhm.
longest time, I really wasn't. Like you said, I'd be tracked. I'd have to check in.
Mhm.
Life 360
Like
on the
360,
phone,
baby.
everywhere I went. I'd have to.
School ends. We on the phone. We
Yep,
on the phone.
yep. So like things like that, but yeah, like you said, with time, it has gotten a lot better. Like I think we're both in the same situation now where like they do trust us to go out and make the right decisions. And yeah, that comes with time, that comes with maturity, and like the stage we're in our lives, I think they also realize like they have to give us that freedom and and trust us with that freedom because like what two two
2.5 months,
two and a
3 months,
half months
we
we're
out
gonna
of here. Like,
we're out, we're on our own.
mhm,
So my advice to like kids starting high school right now or like wherever you are is to it's hard, but to have that conversation with your parents, like if you feel like they're being overtly strict and you can't really do anything, you can't hang out with your friends, and you feel like you're missing out on a lot of like high school experiences, I think it's important to have that conversation and just letting them know at least that like you feel a certain way goes a long way, even with
mhm,
a parent as strict as mine. Just like talking to her and being like, oh, this isn't fair, like all my friends are out doing this, and like there's been so many times where I had to stay home and like just like checking my Snapchat story, and like I just see all my friends out and I'm like, man, this is the worst. But yeah, like having that conversation and at least trying to establish that trust, and like you said, like not screwing it up,
mhm.
doing stupid by doing stupid things. But yeah, having that conversation and giving it time, being patient is important. And to the parents out there, like have a little
Let it,
faith, have a little
yeah,
faith in your kids. Like we're
let
not.
us live. Let
Let us
us
live
live.
a little bit. You were us at
Mhm,
once. I know it's
mhm.
like we can't really speak on it because like there's a
Because
different.
we haven't been there,
We're
and when we do
not.
get there, we're probably gonna be the
We're
same.
gonna be the exact same, like knowing what we were doing.
Uh
You
huh.
know.
Yeah, like, so yeah, but I mean, you bring up a good point because communication is like it's the biggest thing, and it's not only going in as a freshman. I mean, still talk to your parents throughout high school if you
Yeah.
want to get something done, you want to do this, you want to do that. Like, I mean, a couple months ago, it was my parents used to like always breathe down my neck when I would ask to hang out with people because they would be like, "Oh, do you have this done? Like, do you have the? Are you sure that that's the right idea to go hang out with people?" And I'm like, I had to have a conversation. I'm like, look, it's my life. Like, if I can handle my schoolwork and my activities and sports and keep my stuff clean, like I should be able to go and have fun with my friends. And they're like, you know what? That's a fair point. Like we
Yeah.
respect that. And who knows? Like that can happen with you if you have a problem with your parents. You just talk to them and because having that conversation makes it a whole lot more reasonable when you bring it up, rather than just like trying to argue it when you are actually upset in the moment. Like you get upset and your parent goes no, and then you're like, why not? Like that's never gonna get you anywhere. But if you're in a nice calm head and calm nice state of mind, you just kind of bring it up at dinner or at like any time throughout the day, then you'd be like, look, my kid is so mature. They're talking to me about what they want. You know what?
Yep.
I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I'll let them do what they want to do, kind of thing. And that's,
hmm
I mean, it's that maturity level again. It's being able to grow and become a bigger person, I guess, a
Yeah.
smarter, more knowledgeable, street smart person.
Yeah. Just being responsible.
Mm-hmm.
You can't learn from these things. Like you can't be a responsible adult without like having certain experiences,
Mm-hmm.
having those life
Yeah.
experiences.
'Cause everybody's gonna mess up. Everyone's
Exactly.
gonna mess up at times, but it's
That's what
about how you bounce back and how you learn from that. And as long as you don't repeat that same mistake twice, or maybe it'll happen again, but as long as you don't do it 3 times, maybe. I mean, just as long as you learn from that and understand like what you did wrong or what you could have done differently, then there really isn't anything too wrong or too bad with what happened, unless there's like legal trouble, I guess. But I mean, besides from that, like you make a mistake and you're able to understand what you did wrong and learn from it, then that's just life. That's called growth, and that
Mhm.
will continue to happen for the rest of your life, and it's continue happening to us forever, basically. So it's just stuff you learn and you pick up along the way. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
relationships, man,
Relationships, man.
relationships.
All right.
All right, one final question. So looking back on high school, what do you think is the most important relationship you've made?
In
Could be
terms of like
friends.
categories we've listed, or
You want to do one each category? Do you want to do one overall?
like specific.
Like a specific, or actually, oh, that's fair. Okay, actually, no, that's true. That's true. We'll do it. We'll do it how you do it. What do you think is the most important category?
Okay, I think the most important category is obviously friends.
Hmm.
You know, they can cheer you up when you're down. They can bring you down. You know, when you're two up, if that even makes sense.
Oh, it definitely does.
Can humble you, but yeah, friends like they make or break. Not even make or break. They just make life better,
Hmm.
and that's
Yeah.
that's just as it is. You know.
Hmm. Yeah. I definitely got to agree with that one. I mean, you go out. I mean, you get to see your teachers in school, and relationships are cool or whatever. But at the end of the day, like you don't have that kind of group of people that you can just kind of kick it with and do whatever with. Like you can just literally just sit around. You don't even have to be doing anything. Just kind of sit around and maybe talk or just like enjoy each other's company.
Exactly.
And as long as you got that at the end of the day, it's not too much to complain about. You got a good set of people who care about you, who will be there for you, who you enjoy hanging out with, and that's what makes high school. So, and I mean, I went out to dinner last night, and Guillermo's mom, she was like, "Yeah, like I mean, your high school friends will be friends that you have for at least the next 4 years when you come back, and they're going to be most likely some of them will be like your lifelong friends that you meet now, and your kids will know these will know these people and stuff like that in the future. So it's those relationships definitely last the longest and are the most important in that sense. So I mean,
Yeah, for sure.
cherish those while you have it, and
Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
You never know.
you never know. All right, well. That any other questions? You got anything else?
No, no,
No?
no.
Hmm,
All
I
good.
think that's everything.
I think that is everything.
All right.
You want to
Well,
take us out, Miles?
and take us out. All right. This has been episode 4 of Jordan Squared. Today, episode 4. So I think we got a couple more. I think that we can get done. A couple more topics to touch over, and then, I mean, yet again, this has been pretty fun. We get to
Be fun.
reminisce about our high school experiences, good and bad, in this topic. But I mean, yeah, it's just being able to look back and kind of appreciate stuff that we've been through, and that's kind of the main goal of this. So I'm having fun with this. I hope you're having fun with this.
Having a lot of fun. You kidding me?
Yeah, I don't know who's actually going to listen to this, but basically,
I think about that all the time. Like, who's actually gonna listen?
what happens if people find this in like 20 years? But yeah, so Yeah, this has been episode 4 of Jordan Squared, and we'll see y'all next time.
See you
Peace.
next time.